If you followed Depth First Heard and still following some news around it once in a while, you might know there's a podcast out called Who Trolled Amber. Now it's getting some traction, but here's the thing. That traction won't last too long. And the thing is, I think the reason this person, Alexi Monstrous, wrote this is because he knew all the show websites like The Guardian, Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, whoever usually writes positive for Amber, would pick it up. Now, they haven't all yet, but we see now The Guardian has, and that's expected. The Guardian's far on Amber's political side and things like that, so it would make sense they would pick it up. I don't know how many views it got, but his account doesn't kill it. I mean, he's got 11,000 here. That's not so bad. That's like a third of the views a Tug video gets or something like that. Or like a third of the views a Popcorn Planet video gets still to this day about the topic. So it's not like he's huge and they're covering some big story. They're selectively covering this because obviously they're on Amber's side and they always will be, which is why I think I'll always cover it to a certain extent, because why let them just go completely unchecked? So anyway, he says, 2 lovely reviews for Who Trolled Amber. He quotes The Guardian. There are many podcasts about how the internet's changing the world, turning lies into truth and vice versa. This has the potential to be one of the most chilling. Well, the thing is, with this, or with most abuse cases, a lot of it comes down to he said, she said, and who presents the best evidence. It's not just about someone turning their lies to make you believe something. In this case, Johnny had a lot of evidence and a lot of witnesses. Those were the facts, not the lies. Was there a small amount of misinformation? Yes. But there's a small amount of misinformation for pretty much everything anyway. So it's not even worth saying. And as you could see, some Amber fans, we know, are pretty happy about this. None of these have over 1,000 views on their posts. Not that that means so much, but just pointing out it's not some kind of huge movement. Manson Infowars, who's strongly on Evan Rachel Wood's side, is also coincidentally strongly on Amber's side. So they say, well done, great reviews. And I clipped out the part from The Guardian because I must note they didn't write a full article. They included this in a 3-part series with some other things. So I took it from where they started. There's more dedicated digging on Tortoise Media, but into far more recent history. Alex Monstrous, presenter of Sweet Bobby and host, which no one knows what the heck that is back with another sexier than yours investigation podcast. Who Trolled Amber? What does that mean, by the way? Okay. This time, he's tackling the 2022 U.S. trial of Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard, and no one needs him to. Another madly click-friendly topic, though Monstrous spends a lot of time in the first episode telling us that actually he's not interested in celebrity and barely even noticed the trial taking place. Of course. He didn't know much about it, so of course he's not going for clicks now, and he's not going for attention from people like The Guardian now. That wouldn't make sense, would it? What dragged Monstrous into considering the lives of famous people was a friend of his, also clever and into investigations, who woke up one morning and found that his social media timeline was filled with Amber hate. Well, why would that be unless he was an Amber fan and posting positive about Amber? Or what? Why would his timeline be filled with Amber hate? What was the timeline about? If I read a timeline on, let's just say, Star Wars, it's not going to get a bunch of Amber hate. If I read a timeline on my cat having kittens, it's not going to have Amber hate. Amber hate doesn't just pop up everywhere. It pops up when it's relevant. All right, let's keep going. This shouldn't have been happening, given that his friend is a liberal. The algorithm should have given him pro-women content. Well, no. Actually, a lot of times the algorithm deliberately gives you the opposite. But they knew that. They're pros. The friend who knows how such things work attempted to go into his feeds and clean them up, but he couldn't. Let's just take the Guardian's word for it. A friend who knows how things work. What grade are we in here? We're in about, I don't know, somewhere around 2nd grade. Hey, little Jimmy. Trust your father. His friend who knows how things work came over and he'll show you how to do it. With the help of his friend and other clever data analysts, Monstrous finds that actually more than half of the millions of anti-herd posts on Twitter, now X, TikTok, and Instagram were created by bots. More than half. That's a huge claim there. And this might have influenced the jury in the case. Of course! It's all about the jury got it wrong, and you know what? Amber was really innocent, and this stuff all happened to her, just as she said on the stand, with her very, very unbelievable, dry testimonies. The only truth we learned is her dog stepped on a bee. I believe that. I'm sure it happened. Monstrous looks into other cases and finds that it cost almost nothing to hire these bots. Just $100 to swap the internet with pro or anti posts. If it were that freaking easy to sway a jury with bots, you'd have a lot more people doing it. If this was a thing, if this was a real tactic and a real problem, I don't know. I could think of an ex-president who could have done that with his $1.9 billion. He's still worth or something like that. All right. Just saying. Maybe that Evan Rachel Wood support is just bots. Maybe that swayed the judge's decision in California. It's easy, just $100 to win justice. This has the potential to be one of the most chilling. And then they mentioned some other pods. I think maybe Alexei made them, maybe he didn't. We don't care about them. Right, like I said, here's the other topics they mix in. So it wasn't a full article, but The Guardian mentioned it. And I gotta say, their mentions were pretty amateurish. Let's have a quick recap. Sexier than yours. A friend who knows how such things work. Well, guess what, guys? I know how things work too. And in a court of law, you've got a jury, witnesses, and people giving testimony in the stand. Amber's testimony was very unbelievable. It looked like her acting. I think that's the main reason that she lost, among many other reasons, but that's one of them, the human element she brought to the table. If she came to court and she was authentic, believable, really crying, well, maybe ears would be open a little wider for her. Anyway, I think Alexei knew this stuff would happen. He knew the papers that had been reporting on Amber for the last 5 years, all positive, would be dying to pick this up because it's like big enough and official enough for them to report on. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll keep covering this as long as there's something to point out as far as the mainstream or something like that. But I'll have some Harry news, Manson, whatever else comes up as well. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.